First, it's important to understand that it's not a normal situation for anyone to understand that his life is being threatened for 1 minute. And our lives were threatened for so many hours. Okay, by the time I was taken, it's been 6 or 7 hours that I know that our kibbutz has been under attack, and many houses were burned down and broken into and bombed and shot at, and some people were crying for help and no help came for many hours. So to know that terrorists, you can hear them, you can hear Arabic outside your door and hear gunshots being fired all over. So for many hours, that's crazy. To be frightened for so long, that's trauma in itself. And that's what we did. We were there for many hours praying that what happened to our friends, our neighbors, won't happen to us. And I hear them at my door, and I let my family know via the WhatsApp because we were afraid to talk. We decided not to make a sound. So maybe if they think there's no one home, they won't come. So I let them know they're at my door. I hear them trying to break my door down, and then after seconds, they were inside my safe room. I was very scared. I could hear my heart pounding so hard, so fast. And lucky, it's strange saying lucky for me, but I guess when the first thing he said was, "Don't worry, we're not going to hurt you." I was eased for a second, but I told him, "I don't believe you. I find it hard to believe." They were two. They were wearing civilian clothes, and they were armed. And they said, "Don't worry, come with us." I begged them not to take me with them, but they didn't listen. They say, come with us, come out of this room." And they told me, "We finished what we wanted to do here. We just want to go home. We need your car." I tried to explain that we live in a kibbutz, that's a community that lives in a collective way. We're socialists. We don't have a private car. And they looked like they don't believe me, and I was trembling. I was, shivering, and I tried to think, what can I do? So I remembered that the kibbutz has many cars. So I tried to explain, okay, I don't have a private car, but maybe I can point you to a place where all the kibbutz's cars are parked. And I showed them like a button, a mobilizer, that opens the door to all the keys. And I explained that you can go there and have all the cars that you want. And I emphasized, you can have hundreds of cars. And his friend, he talked Arabic, and I can speak very basic Arabic because my parents they made Aliyah from Morocco at 1956. So I told him in Arabic, 100 cars. So they looked like excited to know that they can have 100 cars. So I was relieved that maybe they will actually do that and go away with all their friends. So I tried to point the direction of the dining room, where that room with all the keys is. And they were confused. They say, no, you have to come with us. Come show us. I begged them to leave me alone, to let me stay in my house. And they said, no, 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 don't worry, come show us. And I forgot to say, when they entered my room, first thing they asked for my phone. And they took my phone and they put it in a small bag, and I could see many phones there. So I understood they took many people hostage. And it was frightening for me to go with them, but I understood I have no choice. They had rifles with them. So I asked them to let me change my clothes. I had only my pajamas on, and it was a see-through pajama. So they let me change my clothes all the time, looking, checking. Maybe I don't know. I thought to myself, maybe they want to check that I don't have any weapons with me. And
did you think about trying to get a weapon?
I don't have any weapons.
Or something to protect yourself?
No, not even for a second, no. I didn't think about being smart or, you know, to resist them, no. I was thinking about cooperating. I was thinking about saving myself. I was thinking about my family. They're probably worried sick about me because I wrote they're here. And before all the hours in the morning, we decided that every 5 minutes we need to check in and say, I'm fine. So I was thinking about them, worried about me, and I tried to convince myself that this is the time that I need to worry about me, because now I'm in real danger. They're here. And so I went outside with them. One of them was holding my hand the whole time. And
holding your hand as in comforting, or holding forcefully?
Holding my hand to make sure that I'm still with them all the time, not running away, not trying to do anything else. So the one that spoke English tried to make small talk with me. That was very odd. And to ask me where I'm from, and do I have a husband, do I have kids. So I made conversation with him. I asked him questions as well. So we're walking, and when we get to a main street kind of road, they heard gunshots at a distance, and they got startled and sort of afraid. They held me very strong by the hand, and they ran, and they told me to run with them. For me, it was scary, not because of the gunshots, but because the hope I had for them to get the cars and go, it was shattered. And they were running towards the west, and west for me is Gaza Strip, and I understood that there's a strong possibility for me to be a hostage now. And I tried to tell them, this is not the right direction. You're not going to get cars there. We're going the wrong directions. Like I thought that maybe they will hide from the shots and then we'll go back to get the cars, but they were running all the time and talking to their friends by phone or by I don't know, some radio or something. And they were very confused. So I can show you on the map. Is that good for you? I was here. My husband was here. So at about 9, I already know that my husband is reporting that they're in the house, coming and going and breaking things. But at about 9:30, I know that his house is on fire, and we're begging him, please, please, please stay in the safe room. It's better for you to stay because to die from smoke is not so fast, and maybe the IDF is going to come and save you. My daughter, so I'm here, my daughter's house is here, and I walked with them from here. At this road, we hear gunshots from these directions, and now we're running here. They stop about here. They talk to their commanders, or I don't know, maybe, I think they're commanders, and they understand what they need to do. So they tell me, come with us. I say, please go, leave me alone. They say, don't worry, we're going to take you to a place where there's women like you. And they take me to this house, to the backyard of this house. At her porch, I see an old lady. She's 97 years old. She's with her caregiver. Her caregiver is handcuffed from the front. The second I get there, there are 3 terrorists there. They look like army warriors, and they look very organized, very strict with their orders, fast. The people that, the terrorists that took me from my house, they're gone already. And immediately they handcuffed me with zip ties, and they tie me from behind, very hard and painful. And they make me sit on a chair. They take my sunglasses from my face. I try to explain to them that it's with the prescription and I need it, I don't see. They don't care. The old lady is eating an apple. She's a bit demented, so she's asking questions all the time, and they try to shush her, and they're angry at her, and her caregiver is trying to explain to her that she's not allowed to talk. And a few minutes go by, and I hear a child, like a baby or something like that, a young child, a toddler. After that, I see that it's a toddler. I hear a cry, very loud, very frightened. I've never heard a child cry like that. He cries for his father. Father, I want my father, where's my father? All the time like that. And soon I see terrorists bringing a child. He holds him by the arm very hard like this, and he you know, the child is not touching the ground, and he tosses him on the porch beside us, and the second the child touches ground, he's trying to run away, and I'm afraid that they will shoot him. So I'm trying to lean over to him and to say, please stay with us. And the caregiver is also afraid, and she's trying to hold him and to pull him to be beside her and the old lady. And he's trying to release himself, and he's crying all the time, and he wants to run away. So I'm thinking, what can I do to distract him, to deflect, to ground him? So he cried for his daddy, so I'm asking him, what's your daddy's name? Maybe I know your daddy, tell me. And he's saying his name, and I couldn't hear him properly. So I'm trying to run the names in my head. Who do I know from the kibbutz with that name that could be the right age? And I can't remember. So I'm trying to do another approach, and I said, where does he work? And when he's trying to answer me, he stays there, and it's good. So at that second, I see another terrorist coming with a boy. He's 7 or 8 years old, and a woman. They're both wounded, and I see blood running over the boy's head, from his forehead. He's very worried, he's agitated, he's asking questions. What are they going to do to us? Where's my daddy? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? All the time. And the mother, I understand she's the mother of the young toddler that was there, and she tells him, stay, don't go, I'm here. And the second she arrives, I can see she's having trouble walking, and she collapses on the floor beside me. And she tells me, they shot my husband, and Mila is dead. I don't know what to say, and I'm asking, sorry, who's Mila? She tells me, that's my baby. And I'm trying to hold on to hope, and I tell her, maybe she's only wounded. How can you know? How can you tell? And she's a nurse herself, but I don't want to think about that. And she says, they shot her on the head. I don't know what to do. I don't have my arms. I want to hug her, and I just put my head on her left shoulder, and I don't even have tears, really. And everything is going so fast, and they brought her a shirt. They want her to change her shirt because her shirt is full of blood. She tells me, I got shot on my abdomen. I'm weak. I'm not going to survive this. And her son, the one that's 8 years old, he's saying, Mama, what are they going to do to us? And she tells him, they're going to kill us. And I can tell she's lost hope. She's desperate. And I want him, somehow I'm thinking about this boy, and I want him to still have hope, even if it's our last minutes. I want him to be somehow better. So I tell him, we don't know. And you know what? I talk to him Hebrew, right? I think they don't know either. And she tells me, Adi, I'm not sure if I'm going to survive this. I'm wounded. So please, I want you to swear that you're going to take care of my kids. And I promised her that. And I understood that maybe we're all going to be captives in Gaza. And maybe she's right, she's not going to survive this, because I can see she's wounded. And it's a surreal situation. The old lady is still asking questions. Her caregiver is asking for permission to bring her medicine. All the terrorists care about is that my pajamas are see-through, and they don't want to see my body, and they want to bring me some things to wear and things like that. So the minutes go, and suddenly they say, they talk among themselves, and I don't understand. And the one that brought the mother and her kids, he tells me, you need to understand that if you do what I say, you're gonna be all right. This family, they didn't listen to us, and they tried to run away, and that's why I shot them. And they tell us, they decide, you and you, and they point at me, the caregiver and the old lady, you need to come with us. We try to ask them where we're going. They don't stop to answer. And they say, come, we're going. The old lady, she's trying to understand how can she manage walking. She has her walker, and it's very hard for her to walk and to go from the porch to the grass. They don't care about that. So the one that talked to me, he tells me, come with me. It sounds like he has another plan for me alone. He talks to his friend, and the other friend, the other terrorists, he pulls me back. He has a knife, and he releases me from my handcuffs. And the other one tells me, come, I need you to do something. And this is the last that I saw from the old lady and the caregiver and the mother and both kids. Now I know that the mother and the kids are safe. The old lady survived, and the caregiver was murdered. So that's the last I saw of her. He pointed me towards the fence of the kibbutz where it's exposed, and there was a road. I can show you. He took me here. There were cars parked here. He told me, my friends are in the car. My dead friends, he said, are in the car. And his English was not good. So he showed me, I need you to pull my friends out of the car. I tried to ask him, are they dead? He says, I'm not sure. Maybe. So I tell him, please shout out to them, tell them that I'm coming. Because I'm thinking, if they're wounded, maybe they are armed and they're gonna shoot me. He doesn't care, and he says, go. So I started walking, and I decided for myself that I need to have my hands held up, because if army soldiers, IDF soldiers see me, so they know that I'm a hostage, and if other terrorists see me, so they know. And I'm trying to think, how can I say in Arabic, I'm here to help you, so they don't shoot me. After 3 or 4 steps, I hear gunshots, so I crouch down to the ground, and I feel them running, and they took me by the hand, and they made me run with them. And I can't see anything, I just see the ground, and I see other terrorists joining us, and they all ran to another house here. And by the time we arrive, sorry, not here, here. By the time we arrive to this house, I know that in the morning there was heavy fighting here, and not fighting actually, massacre and burning houses. This is my husband's neighborhood. I lived here for 5 years. So I know what is the situation here, and they brought me to this house. It's in the corner. It's very strategic house. So they point me to get into the house, but I can't. It's burning, it's hot, it's frightening, and I see many of them there. I'm alone with about 10 or 15 tourists, fighters. They look like warriors, and I'm afraid to go inside the house. So I see a storage room to my left, and I want to go there. They let me go there, and many of them are at the entrance to that storage room because it's hidden. So I'm afraid that they will be angry at me, that I take up their space. So I'm trying to make myself as small as I can to go further from there inside. It's very small, it's only 2 meters, you know. And immediately they start fighting. The shooting is very heavy. I can hear many gunshots, all kinds of rifles, different sounds. They have RPG on the floor. And for me, every second is dangerous because they're all armed, and any second, any one of them can decide to shoot me on the spot. And I feel shreds hurting me on the legs, so I know that it's best to protect the head. So I found a book and a shelf and something to put on my head. And I'm trying to decide whether to cover my ears because it's so loud, and to cover my head. And I can see their movements. They look very trained. And the fighting is very long. It took about 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. And I prayed for them to be busy fighting and to forget about me. But some of them are looking at me, and they're all new faces, not the ones that brought me. So one of them is, looking at me, like he is wondering. So I tell him in Arabic, your friend brought me here. And slowly the fighting is, I hear fewer shots, and they retreat during shooting. So they retreat towards the house, and I guess towards the backyard. And after a while, I don't see anybody. And I hear Hebrew from a distance. So I could breathe and be happy for less than a minute, because I think maybe they're gone, but I don't know how far they went. And I know that if I try to move, maybe the IDF soldiers are there. So if they see movement from that house, so maybe they think I'm a terrorist. So I need to be very smart what to do. So I decided I need to let them know that I'm a civilian before I move. But I don't know if I cry out to them, maybe the terrorists will decide to come back and take me. So I don't know what to do. I decided to cry for the soldiers. So I'm shouting in Hebrew, soldiers, soldiers. So they respond, they say, there's a civilian here. Immediately the shooting starts again from both sides. And it's frightening again. And I feel guilty that maybe because of me, the soldiers will be hurt. And then after a few minutes, it's quiet again. And I hear the Hebrew is more organized, it's closer to me. So I decide to let them know I'm here again. And I cry to them out again. And their commander is coming to me and asking me what happened here, what are you doing here? I explained that I was brought there as a hostage. He's asking, are they still here? I say, I don't know. So he sends a unit to clear the house, and he appoints one of the soldiers to be in charge of me and to, to let me know that I'm safe, to help me relax a bit. And then they try to move out of the house, out of the yard from here, and progress towards here, towards this area, right? So we're going out of the house, out of the yard, and immediately we hear gunshots, and we go and we crouch down to the ground, we lay down to the ground. At that second, I can see a woman dead on the floor, on the curb, with her handcuffed from behind, just the same way I was handcuffed. And I can see she's a civilian. I can't recognize her because her face is pointing to the ground. And I can see at the entrance to the house a car burning, and a man outside of the car in a very strange position. I know he's dead. He looks like he wears civilian clothes. I can't recognize him. He looks like he's half burnt. And the soldiers tell me, don't look, it's not good for you. And when they tell me before, and when they told me you're safe with us, I didn't feel safe, because just seconds ago there was heavy fighting, and I don't want to be with them because they're shot at, and I'm not trained like they are. They decide not to proceed because of all the shooting, and they both teams stay at this garden beside this house at the yard, and I stayed there with them for about an hour and a half, and they were fighting there. And all the time, one of them was with me, taking care of me, giving me something to drink, and making sure that I'm safe. I try to tell them, don't worry about me, do your job, do what you need to do, because it's very hard for me to know that people my daughter's age are fighting, are trying to protect me, because they are my brothers, you know. And it's very hard to know that young people need to do this job. And they tell me, this is our job, that's what we trained for. That's why we came here to do, that's what we came here to do. And it's a terrible situation. And 4 of them were wounded in front of my eyes. I saw them being treated, and I could recognize that 2 of them were hurt severely. And one of the team decided to evacuate the wounded soldiers, and they evacuated me with them. And one of the teams stayed there and continued the fighting. We were evacuated under fire by foot. The ambulance couldn't proceed, so they evacuated us by foot from here under fire to here, and here they were put inside ambulance, and I was put in a car, and we went out to this gate. This is the gate to the kibbutz, and here was the area where we were all waiting to be evacuated away from all the fighting. First thing that I wanted to do is to let my family know that I was rescued. So I asked someone to use their phone, and I knew that my daughter and my husband were still inside. My daughter was rescued at about between 10 at night and midnight. During those hours, buses evacuated people to Netivot. That's a city that is further from the border, and I didn't want to go with them because I wanted to wait for my daughter and my husband. And by midnight, there were many people there waiting to be evacuated, and still all the time there were there were sirens about us being bombed. So every few minutes we needed to lay on the ground because there was no shelter there, and because the bombings continued. And at about midnight, a terrorist shot at us, at all the people waiting there, just minutes and hours ago, rescued from the houses, but still being shot at there where we gathered to wait for evacuation. So the army decided not to wait for the buses to come and to evacuate us on army trucks to Netivot. And I was forced to be evacuated because it was dangerous to stay there while knowing that my husband is still there. And only at 2 a.m. Sunday morning, he let me know that he was rescued.